That right there, that's one of the worst performances that we've had so far this season. It's Fulham's only second away win of the season. Ladies and gents, that defeat right there to Fulham at Old Trafford, in my opinion, that's quite a dangerous one for Erik ten Hag. Now, you might say that it's a bit of a weird thing to say, but I don't think it is. There are ways to lose football games. And given right now, this has always stuck in my head since Carl Anka said it from The Athletic. Erik ten Hag is effectively an interim manager between now and the end of the season because we are working on getting our whole sporting structure in place. Then maybe the concept of replacing a manager is a little bit, parked. But that defeat right there. Now, I know that we've had injuries. We've had 34 different starting 11s this season. That's the first time that back four's played together this season. That's the first time that front three has played together this season because Højlund was, of course, injured and Fulham was making his debut. But come on. Nobody in that team, defensively, in midfield, in attack, knew what to do. Honestly, and I said this during the game, and I'll say it now, we looked like a team that was stuck between styles. Should we press? Should we stand back? Should we play out from the back? Should we go direct? It's the chop and the change. And that is where the lack of identity has come from. And that is what has frustrated United fans so much. And for me, that right there, as I said, I'm going to call it a dangerous defeat for Erik ten Hag because with Dave Brailsford sitting in Old Trafford, he is going to be going back to Jim Ratcliffe and speaking about exactly what he saw. I mean, look, Jim Ratcliffe can go and watch the game himself. But ten Hag, between now and the end of the season, has to prove himself from an identity perspective because we are getting the best of class in place above him. Omar Barada in as a CEO and Dan Ashworth and maybe Jason Wilcox from Southampton as a technical director too. And Ratcliffe spoke about the vision. He spoke about the fact that, no, we, CEO, owner, sporting director, we're going to choose the identity of Manchester United and the manager has to play to it. Now, I want nothing more, and I mean this, I genuinely mean this from the bottom of my heart. I want nothing more than for Ten Hag to succeed. The idea that he can come through all of this and get this United team playing like a United Ajax hybrid would be glorious. The siege mentality that you would have to come through that sort of adversity as a set of fans and players and manager together, that would create something massively tight-knit. It's the complete opposite of what I saw there against Fulham. Now, I know that we had Højlund missing. He's our man at the moment. I know that we have Victor Lindelof playing at left back, but shit me. There is no excuse for how Manchester United played in that game. Now, I've got a picture of Casemiro here. I could have a picture of absolutely anybody. But Manchester United's midfield today, it's so exhausting, and I detest watching Manchester United defend on the transition. Whenever we lose the ball in a slightly aggressive position, or even in our own half, actually, doors are open. Come on in. Take what you want. We don't care about defending our own space. We don't care about keeping the compact lines between the defence. But we've done that in game. This is what I mean. It's like, it's not even Jekyll and Hyde. It's not even like United is schizophrenic. I don't know what to call United anymore. But we are lost at sea. I'll tell you, somebody who looks lost at sea right now. It feels like Steve, who works with me on the research, said it during the game. He goes, it feels like Bruno's finally broken, and I think it looks like it. Like, Bruno is somebody who I've defended so much, but even he just looks like nothing's coming off for Bruno now. And when you are one of those more creative players, you're going to give the ball away a lot. You're going to have a lower percent pass completion. I know that, right? But just everything from that game there today for Erik ten Hag didn't come off, and it was. I don't think he can really afford to do that. Not with, as I said, Brailsford watching on, a whole new structure going in above him, and Jim Ratcliffe, who has talked the talk since coming in as United's new football operational owner. And he started to walk the walk. We've got the CEO, we're getting the sporting director, we're probably getting the technical director. And I just keep reiterating in my head, if Erik ten Hag is the interim manager of Manchester United, then all we have to do between now and the end of the season, Erik, all right, just get top four, all right? That was nowhere near what the ambition was going into the start of this season. But given the fact that we've had so many injuries, given the fact that we've had a takeover, given the fact that there's been turmoil in and around the club, if you can just finish in the top four and use these last couple of the months of the season to prove to me, to prove to me as the, I don't know what he's going to, operations manager of Manchester, to prove to Dave Brailsford, to prove to everybody who's coming into this club that you can instill that identity onto this team. So if you do that and you finish in the top 4, then we can probably reset this summer. We can probably really help you in the recruitment section. We're going to have a sporting director to take that away from you. And you can just focus on coaching. And if Ten Hag got to that position and we finished top 4, man, I think we'd be a better team next season. But my word, you take 1 or 2 players out of this team. Whoop. When Martinez and Shaw came back, we looked so much better. You take them out. Whoop. But Erik Ten Hag, that was bad today. Every single one of those players. I think Garnacho was probably the only sort of threat that we might have had going forward. Maguire got the goal towards the end, which meant sweet F.A. So many times. Today against Fulham, opening game of the season against Wolves, and there are so many games, I don't even want to think about them, where we have just been cut open on the transition. The gaps between our defensive line, our midfield line, and our attacking line were so open, and nobody knew what to do. Look, Forster made his debut. I thought he looked comfortable enough, but I don't really know if he was comfortable in what was going on. I'm not sure I was. Erik Ten Hag tried to adopt a sort of a dynamic front 3 today with Forsen, I think, starting on the right-hand side, Rashford through the middle, Garnacho on the left. Within 4 minutes, it was Garnacho on the right. Then 6 minutes later, it was Forsen, you over here, you over there. I understand that being a fluid front 3 can be an asset, as long as people know what they're doing, as long as people are occupying the right positions. And that's what it looked like today for Manchester United, that we just didn't know what we were doing. And Fulham completely did. They sat there in a compact back 4. They had their it was basically a 4-4-2. It felt like out of possession. Really squeezing the midfield, forcing United out wide. As soon as it went out wide, it was like Iwobi and someone else just kind of drifted further out wide. And then we couldn't do anything and we had to pass it back. We had no route to the edge of the box through the middle. And because of that, we just kept trying to recycle it wide. And we didn't have any sort of threat from the wings at all. Rinse and repeat. And we had no... Erik, man, that's a bruising one for me. That's a real bruising one. You know full well how much I've defended Erik Ten Hag, and I've pointed towards the injuries and I've pointed towards a takeover because it's all completely correct. I think a lot of it is justifiable. But for Manchester United to drop off there to that level against a Fulham team which had, up until that game there, had only won 1 game away from home in the Premier League this season, and to be so comprehensively beaten. That was, going into the 88th minute, that was as comprehensive as a 1-0 defeat as you were ever likely to see. Every part of the pitch, Fulham were just better. First to the ball, second to the ball, better shape, better in possession, better out of possession, better from corners, more dangerous shots. It was a clean sweep for Fulham. And had United got a late winner there from Scott McTominay, just like we did against Wolves, or away to Fulham, or at home to Brentford, then it would have certainly papered over the cracks, but it would have been a result and a victory. And that's kind of... I don't think that results are enough for Erik Ten Hag in the position that he is in now. With Brailsford watching on, with the structure that we've got coming in, it's about more than just results right now. Now, the wrong results could end up seeing Ten Hag lose his job. I really don't know how that happens or what the way out of that is, because we currently don't have a sporting director and we're trying to get one in. We currently have a CEO who can't work with us until the summer. So, I mean, how do you go about replacing a manager and bringing someone in who oversees that, who manages that? I mean, it's difficult, and that might grant Erik Ten Hag time, but we've got City away next. City away. And I've said this on more than one occasion. It's always the games against your bitter rivals that, when your backs are against the wall as managers, it's those games which are, in my opinion, the most important. And if Manchester United now go into that game against City, and of course they're going to be favourites by some margin. We're going to be underdogs. Højlund's not going to be fit. Casemiro went off with a concussion. Is he going to be fit? Even if he is fit, you're looking at a cumbersome midfield there. Mainu can't do that on his own. I'm not looking forward to City away next. in the Premier League. I think we've got Forest in the FA Cup. But with Ratcliffe doing everything that he's doing and with the ambition that he's got, to watch Manchester United be dismantled by Fulham in that way and for United to simply not have a grip on the game at all, that raises real questions over Erik ten Hag and whether he's the right man. And these are questions that Brailsford will be relaying to Ratcliffe and that Barada and Ashworth will be thinking about 100%.